What's going on, everybody? I am dropping in here to do a video today on a piece of public I went and scouted. I've actually been scouting it quite a bit. I actually went up last week and did a scouting mission on it, but I wanted to get this video out, and I'm by my computer right now, so I'm going to do like a screen record, draw on a map, and kind of tell you what I was doing basically in my whole mission there and why I was doing all this, because I did film it, but it was so hot that day. It was like 95 degrees and I was sweating like crazy, and realized when I got back I didn't do as good a job as I should have. But I had one mission. I only had about 2 hours to scout, so I like hurry up and went there and did it and got it done. So but I did unveil some valuable information. So let's get into it right here. I do want to refer back to a video that I did on my YouTube channel a couple weeks ago about finding secluded oak trees on public land and some scrapes. So I'm going to refer back to that area. And the reason being is because since I put that camera, that render out on that scrape, I've got a good buck on camera there. So that's what made me dive in a little bit farther. So let's dive in a little bit. So I do want to talk about that scrape that we found, my buddy Kevin and I found, and I put the render on, I doctored it up and everything, is located right here. That's the scrape. This little red mark is the scrape. I have still an Exodus render running on it, and that is roughly right there. My plan, what I wanted to do this trip, I was by myself. I wanted to dive in a little deeper, but I also wanted to walk a transition line because I thought the deer were basically moving in a direction east to west or west to east, and I wanted to figure out where they were coming from, try to figure out the most concentrated area where this buck might be coming from. But also there's a transition line, and that is roughly right here, as you can see that I'm drawing. And I wanted to walk that transition line to see where the deer were coming this way out of this big swamp. And this right here, this big blue area, my drawings are terrible, but this big blue area is all thick cedar swamp. Okay, so I'm gonna undo all this. That's all thick cedar swamp, and this right here is all, I would say, in my best estimation, that is all 3 to 5 year old clear cut. This white spot's clear cut. This right here is all thick cedar swamp. So I figured the deer were bedding in this thick cedar swamp. I wanted to get into it. So what I did is I entered from right here, okay? And I started working up the transition line this way. I wanted to see what was up north for any sign. I can tell you, I can X that off. I walked up that area. I didn't find any historical rubs. I didn't find any tracks. I didn't find any beds, anything like that. No scrapes, no old scrapes or anything. So I basically X'd off all that up there. When I was walking this up here, I was trying to get, like I said, out in here. Couldn't do it. It was so thick. I couldn't even get through walking on my, hands and knees basically. So what I did was I started walking this line back down. And when I got right here, right there was a faint trail coming out of the swamp just like that. Now I figured, okay, it was the first sign that I have found from up here to here. Okay, it was right there. It was the first sign that I've seen coming out of that. And it was very faint. So I'm like, okay, there was like a good little pinch right here. I'm like, I'm going to build a scrape, put a camera on it, and I did. It's been a week since I had the camera on there, and all I've gotten on it is does so far. My whole theory was, if I can get a buck or this buck, whatever it might be, on a camera here, and then if he bounces over here to this one, maybe I can kind of put the pieces together of where he's coming, where he's going. That was kind of my thought there. So I put that one there. There's a camera there. So then I kind of started keep working down this way. I got this edge, and like I said, I can't come over here. Like, this is basically the line. It's so thick. So I'm walking the edge, and I walk just like this, and about right here, I found a bed. And I found a bed with a rub on it, rub from last season. I got in the bed, looked at it, and the best to my knowledge, the bed looks like the buck is facing this way. And the reason why I think is because this is a point of entry for people coming in on public land. So I think he's monitoring that. But what I think he's doing is I think he's betting on a wind-specific bed, and that wind would be out of the south. Okay. A southwest, a southeast. So he's facing this way with the wind to his back. So he's got all points of entry and exit covered. That's how I think he's betting. So let's move to a different color here, and let's mark that as a bed. It was roughly right in there. So there's a bed. So when I left that bed, I walked. What I want to do is I wanted to get out to this point and this point. I wanted to see what kind of movement was there, because all of this, it doesn't look like it on the map, but I walked out into this. It is thick bedding that you cannot hardly get into. So I wanted to get to these points, but what I did is, so I walked like this out to this little opening, found someone's gun stand right there, and I walked right here and I stopped, and it didn't really look like much to me. Like I didn't really like it. Didn't really like catch me, you know? So then I turned and I walked like this to get back on this transition line. That's not the transition line, to get back on this transition line here. And when I walked back roughly about right here, I found another buck bed. And the beauty about this buck bed is that same kind of deal. He's facing this way and he's bedding here when winds are out of the south again. Okay. And he's on a high point about as big as this X. It's not very big at all. And he's right in the middle, and it's a divot out of the bed, or out of the ground. And the swamp literally wraps around him like this. Okay. This is thick. Like, you can't get down in it, like I said. I was going to put a camera on that bed, and I didn't end up doing it. I still might. This one was used a lot more than this one was. I think this is kind of a secondary bed, the blue one. I think the white one is his bed. So I documented it and, figured out, if I wanted to hunt right over the bed, where I could hunt. There's actually a tree about right here that I could get into, but I'd have to get in there real early if I wanted to. After I found this bed, I started working back out like this, and I worked just like this. And when I got here, there was a big scrape right here. Okay. And the reason why I didn't doctor it up or put a camera on it is because I kind of equate it to as like a field edge scrape. But I documented, I know it's there, and it might be an ideal situation to be able to like enter like this to hunt and hunt over this scrape. So if this buck is bedded here and he wants to come scent check, that'd be a good opportunity. So I know that scrape's there. Then I walked just like this, looked at this point. That point didn't really look like anything at all. Walked around this way, and I came like this. And when I got here, I realized that this point was a lot better than when I was there half hour before. There was a trail going like this, and there was a trail going like this. This crossing right here was heavy. So I put a camera right there facing down at it. Got a couple deer on it so far, and all the deer, what they're doing is they're going like this. They're cutting that inside corner. So not great with the location, a camera location, but I put it there and we'll see how it works out. So in conclusion, that was my scouting mission. Basically, I wanted to cover some areas where this buck might be coming. Like I said, if he hits this camera, then he hits this one, then I might know where he's at. Or if he hits this camera and then he hits this one, or hits this one, vice versa. I've got like a little triangle situation going. Then I could kind of figure out where he's going, where he's coming from, whatever. But it unveiled something that I really like, and I'm going to go back to this bed right here. I can access from here. I was thinking I could enter, if I could find some oaks somewhere in here, this would be ideal. Or even up in here. Because I can enter, and if it's on the right wind where I think this deer's bedding here, a south, southwest, somewhere in there where the wind's going to be blowing often like this, I think I can get in somewhere here, try to get close to bedding, and if I can find some sort of food source right there that he might be coming to early season, that's going to be a money spot, I believe. Now, on the flip side, I have scouted all of this in the spring, and there were doe beds. There are doe beds here, 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 here. So it's like a bedding pocket, and there's a trail that goes off into it like this. I've only been about as far as this right here. Okay, so I can't tell you what it looks like over there. I need to get in here. I need to figure that out. I think finding all of this led me to all of what could be here, I think. I'm excited. That's the game plan right now, but it'll be interesting. I want to get back up there and scout that and find, some oaks or a food source somewhere in here and really pick that off. So I think it's an overlooked spot. We'll see, but I don't know. Hope you guys like this video. It's the first one I've ever done. I'm going to do more because I really like breaking it down from Ariel's perspective, and for everybody out there, hopefully you guys can take something from it as well. So there you guys have it. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the comments and everything. If you guys like this, let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, we'll have some more content coming soon.